I'm always looking for ways to show my cat how much I love her. And with Fancy Feast gems, I can pamper her whenever I want with a savory gravy on top of a gourmet mousse pâté. The pyramid shape makes serving simple, so all I have to do is peel and plate to make mealtime feel extra fancy. And with 2 entrees in every pack, it's easy to turn every day into the extraordinary. Fancy Feast gems.
No one should have to choose between their own safety and their pets. But nearly half of domestic abuse survivors delay leaving because they can't bring their pets with them. Purina is helping to create more pet-friendly domestic violence shelters through the Purple Leash Project, so survivors and their pets can escape and heal together. Visit Purina.com/purple to learn more.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Tom, are you ready for the season 21 Top Chef Pack Your Knives draft?
Like Indiana Pacers great Lance Stevenson, I'm born ready.
This is Pack Your Knives. I'm Kevin Arnovitz.
And I'm Tom Haberstroh.
Tom, this is the Pack Your Knives draft. We are really excited this year. I'm not able to participate, and I'll explain later why. But I mean, there's a lot on the line here. You were whooping me. Let's just call it what it was. In the first couple of seasons of Pack Your Knives, you were dominant. I have answered back with authority. And this is our 7th season and our 7th fantasy draft.
We had a really tight season last year. It went down to the final episode. I think you had like a 6-point lead going into the finale. You had Gabri. I had Sarah Bradley. And you also had, of course, the winner, Buddha Lowe, who won back-to-back seasons. And we discussed right before the finale a little bit of a trade. And we came to an agreement that I would acquire Gabri right before the finale, and you would acquire my 3rd pick in this year's draft, Top Chef draft, which means that Kevin, as a result of that trade, that didn't work out for me. Not only did I lose, but I also lost a future 1st-round pick or a future 3rd-round pick. You are now going to have the number 1 pick. I'm going to have the number 2 and the number 3. And then you are going to have 4 and 5 and 6. And then we trade off as normal. So it's really exciting. And I think what we're going to do is, for our paid subscribers, I want to hear from y'all. What does your big board look like? I want to know, who would you draft number 1 overall? Because I'm sitting here on my big board, Kevin, and I'm nervous. I'm very nervous about what's about to transpire. And the paid subscribers, you might be sitting here, hey, what do you mean paid subscribers? We have launched a Substack at packyourknives.com, and we are going to have lots of goodies for our paid subscribers, which you can be for $50 for the entire year. And for that, you will get instant downloads for the recaps. There's no waiting. As soon as we publish, you got it. And then you also get lots of goodies like Kevin's restaurant reviews. He just posted, Kevin, a really nice article on the Substack breaking down your visits to Charbel's restaurant as well as Nina Compton's restaurant in New Orleans, and a nice little shout out to Cops, your dessert porn, as you called it. So, Kevin, how did that feel, writing that piece? It felt good?
Yeah, it's fun to write prose again. And if you are extremely excited, beyond just the normal paid subscription level of excitement, consider joining our Chef's Table as a founding member. And you get a ton of extras, like, for instance, you get to draft on my behalf, and I'm going to explain this in a second. That's right. Founding members, Chef Table members, Elizabeth Klein-Smith, Scott Shaw, Christopher Chen stepped up. They submitted their draft boards to draft on my behalf this season as founding club members because, Tom, this is what happened. I was invited to, we were both invited. I was able to attend a taping of a Top Chef episode later in the season. This has rendered me ineligible because I have seen the future. I know some of the final few chefs. And as a result, it would be entirely unfair. I mean, I think I would beat you fair and square, but this would be, my mind has been polluted with knowledge, and I just simply can't draft myself. So what I'm having is people like Elizabeth, Scott, and Christopher submitted their draft boards to me over the weekend. I aggregated the average ranking of each of the 14 chefs to come up with my draft board, which essentially will be drafted almost like in trust. You know, like when I think they're elected officials in certain countries where they're not allowed to hold individual stocks for reasons of anti-corruption. And so they are only allowed to hold, to the extent they have assets, they don't really know about them. That's kind of what's going to happen here, though I will know. And I will not be eligible to make trades. I mean, Tom, I think even in the mid-season, if you do want to submit a trade, I'm going to have to run it by the trustees of Team Kevin. Elizabeth, Scott, Christopher will get to decide whether that I'll put it to a vote.
Is this a board meeting? Is this a Pack Your Knives board meeting that you're gonna call?
I think I might have to call a board meeting if the trade is sincere and it is legitimate and it is timely. I'm gonna have to call a meeting of the board and say, what do you think? What do you think of this trade?
Oh wow.
Do we give away the farm for Charlie Pierre? Do we mortgage the future for Danny Garcia? If that comes up, I will go to, you have to be a Chef's Table Founding Club member, but I will go to you, and that's how it's going to be. So that is the deal. So when we hear producer Anthony Mays announce the pick on my behalf, what he's actually doing is announcing the pick that the trustees have submitted by all effect.
Okay.
So that's what's going on here. Oh, and by the way, clarify one error. I said this is our 7th draft. It's actually our 6th draft. It's our 7th season of Top Chef, or of Pack Your Knives, rather, because we did a rewatch season, if you remember. But this is the 6th draft.
And once again, we're going to have a fantasy scoreboard, which we will have allow our paid subscribers to access. So if you wanted to follow along, Team Kevin versus Team Tom, we will have that fantasy scoreboard for our paid subscribers and updated as we go. So, we will also have our scoring rubric, which we'll post to the Substack. So if you want to do your own fantasy draft, you can do that at home using the Pack Your Knives scoring system, which we've used the past several years. And I'm hoping, and we've gotten some really good responses from people who have mentioned that there seems to be a placeholder on the website for Last Chance Kitchen. So we're hoping that Last Chance Kitchen returns, and we can also follow that along for this season. We have one episode in the books, and it was a great episode. If you haven't listened to that, go listen to that right now. The episode 1, the premiere of this season 21 in Wisconsin recap. Go listen to that. It is informing my picks here, Kevin. It is not everything, but I think it's time to start our Pack Your Knives season 21 draft.
With the first pick in this year's Top Chef Pack Your Knives draft from Monterrey, Mexico, Team Kevin selects Manuel Manny Barea.
Yeah. Just a banger of an episode for him. The Pizzoli, the finesse, the everything. They were drinking that soup. Every glob they were just slurping up, and I just felt like, okay, this guy's special. I don't know, Kevin, if I would have had a number 1 on my big board without the first episode, which is why we watched the first episode before we do this. But he was number 1 on my big board, and so I'm nodding along at Team Kevin, the board at Team Kevin, the Chef's Table members. I'm saying good pick here. I had him number 1.
All right, so Tom, and you're much more fluent in this. How much of your ranking him number 1 was informed by his performance strictly, your handicapping and scouting of him as a chef? Does he have the versatility? Does he have the technicality? Does he have all the things, all the attributes you need to win Top Chef? And how much of it was informed by something you rely on a great deal, which is history, which is, I mean, you have studied how many first challenge winners go on to win Top Chef. Where is 20 seasons in now? Where is the show in that? Like, how often does this happen? Like, are the probabilities good that he's going to win based on the first challenge victory?
Yeah. The last 6 Top Chef winners did not win an elimination challenge in any of the first 2 episodes of their season. Okay. So think about that. We're looking at Manny and saying, hey, I feel like, given that we only have 1 episode of information at our disposal and he won resoundingly, it wasn't just like, I don't know, I think maybe Michelle might have won, or maybe Danny could have won. I think it was pretty resounding that he won this competition, this episode. So I think for me, there is a little bit of a recent downgrade of that first elimination challenge win. It used to be very prophetic that if you won the first elimination challenge, you had a much better performance for the rest of the season than your peers. However, as I said, over the last 6 seasons of Top Chef, we have not seen the eventual Top Chef win any of the first 2 episodes. So with that said, I just think he's so strong in this 1 episode, and we only have the Bayesian prior of just 1 episode here. We don't have much. I think Manny is a great pick at number 1.
Yeah, I'm actually, to me, the suspense comes, as it often does, and in most drafts, whether it's NFL or NBA, the suspense comes often after the first pick. So I'm very curious to hear who Anthony announces as the second pick.
All right, the pick is in.
With the second pick in the Top Chef Pack Your Knives Season 21 draft, Tom Haberstroh selects from Brooklyn, New York. It's Danny Garcia.
This is very interesting, Tom. I think it was, the reason I said what I said is not just to lend an element of suspense. I do think there's a nice, interesting cluster, largely because of what you said, right? Like, we know Manny won. I think there were a lot of chefs in that first episode who had strong first outing, not just Danny and Michelle, who are the other 2 kind of victory, in their subdivision winners. But I think there were a couple of the chefs who really shined. And I'm really curious to hear, what are you seeing, Tom? What are you seeing in that prepper, in that chicken, and that plate that I think one of the judges says was restaurant quality? What do you see of Danny that suggests that he has the longevity, the versatility to go all the way here?
All right, so I'm not just basing this on the first episode. Like I said, the winners of Top Chef recently have not come out of the gates firing on all cylinders, winning either of the first 2 episodes. So I'm acknowledging that, like, look, it's not everything in the first episode. What I am pointing to is the fact that this guy at a very young age rose to become a sous chef at Nomad, the best restaurant in the world by many accounts. He has worked at the top restaurant in the world. He has also competed. This isn't a guy who came on Top Chef before. He is a guy who's competed in the Bocuse d'Or competition, basically the gastronomy Olympics, where these nationalities have these teams that go and compete. I think it's in France. And he has been a 2-time member of the Team USA, going to this Olympic challenge, a gathering of the best chefs in all the world. And he also was named, I believe, a mentor winner of that Mentor Young Chef competition, first prize in 2016 at the Bocuse d'Or World Chef Championship in Lyon. Am I pronouncing that correctly? I think this guy not only has the credibility of Nomad, he also has a elite competition track record. And then you throw in the fact that he was in the top 3 in this episode, and he loves the gangster cooking, and he seems to, I am mistaken. Oh no, there is a big big discrepancy here that I am now, the pick is in. I can't change this. Kevin, what did I get wrong?
Well, Nomad, there are restaurants some restaurants called Nomad in the country. We'd have to clarify which one he once worked at. However, I think the restaurant you're referring to, often regarded as the best in the world, is Noma in Copenhagen, where they forage for their own stuff. Now, by the way, I don't know that denigrates Danny's talent. I think you can still feel comfortable with the pick.
Gosh,
but just so you know, your scouting department went to the wrong joint, basically, is what I'm finding.
You thought you were drafting someone from University of Miami. You took someone from the University of Miami of Ohio, Tom.
Yeah, this is not good. Okay, you know what? I'm okay with this. Danny showed out in the first episode. He is a Bocuse d'Or champion, mentor winner in 2016. I think he's really into Top Chef. I think there's a little bit of Boudeleau in this guy. I like Danny Garcia. I'm standing by my number 2 pick, despite the misinformation that my scouting department gave me. So I will have to submit my number 3 pick to make up for this gaffe.
The Lyon thing is interesting. I have a wonderful reading recommendation that I think all of our listeners would love. Bill Buford, former New Yorker editor, former Granta editor, wrote a lovely memoir called Dirt a couple years ago about picking up his family from New York City and his 2 young twins, moving to Lyon to work the line, basically, at one of the most famous Michelin-starred restaurants. And it's just a lovely love letter to food. It shows kind of the behind the scenes. There's a little bit of Kitchen Confidential in there because it's a crazy environment and it can be pretty intense. But it's a wonderful book. But when you said Lyon, I immediately thought of the Bill Buford book Dirt. It's just a great read for anybody who loves nonfiction, anybody who loves food, anybody who loves travel writing, anybody who loves memoirs. So pick up Bill Buford's Dirt.
I also recommend...
What do you recommend, Tom?
I recommend Bill Buford's book, also Heat, also a great read from Bill Buford. So yes, I'm sorry. I know. I have to get off the stage here to allow the commissioner on board. So yes, take it away.
With the 3rd pick in the Pack Your Knives Top Chef Season 21 draft, a very important pick, as Tom will not pick again until pick 7. Tom Haberstroh selects Michelle Wallace from St. Louis, Missouri.
Oh, Tom, this one breaks my heart. I really wanted Michelle just because I kind of, as I was talking about her biscuits last week, as I watched just sort of she's a winning personality, has a good, kind of a great approach to the game, a good locker room culture player. I love that charred corn sauce. I love what she did with that lobster and ricotta pasta. I just kind of love the persona, love that she kind of turned a pop-up at a farmer's market into a brick and mortar. She is my kind of player, basically, and I'm very disappointed. I am heartbroken to see her go off the draft board, and she will be a member of Team Tom. This is sad for me, but very, very advantageous for you.
Yeah, I feel a little weird that we've just watched the first episode and now the top 3 are off the board like that. Is it really that dramatic of a change in our estimation of how good these chefs are that Manny wins? He gets number 1 pick. Danny and Michelle are in the top 3 with Manny, and they go 2 and 3. So I'm a little nervous that we're over relying disproportionate emphasis on the first episode of Top Chef this season. However, Michelle has a lot of credibility. She's a pit master, a sandwich guru, and I think that's going to serve you well in Top Chef because, I don't know, it just feels like a tight plate is really essential in quick fires. And later in the competition, I feel like composition is going to be big. And I thought maybe, hey, is she going to be the most fine dining connoisseur on this season? Maybe not based on her bio. However, she made the best pasta dish of the first episode. So I don't feel nervous about that side of things. Her bubbly, warm personality, her self-deprecating, it seems like she's humble. I like that. I want her as a great locker room personality to help raise the kind of everyone else's vibes in the locker room. So I think she's a really strong addition to Team Tom, along with Nomad, I'm not mad, Nomad chef Danny Garcia with my first 2 picks. And now I get extremely nervous waiting for your next 3 picks for Team Kevin.
The pick is in.
With the 4th pick, Kevin Arnovitz selects Daniel Dan Jacobs from Chicago, Illinois.
But really, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. He is cooking in Milwaukee. He is the hometown guy with the hometown advantage. And my trustees love Dan. In fact, Tom, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret here. Let's show them my cards. They had Dan Jacobs ranked 2nd, just behind Manny, which is very interesting. He did not win the soup division, but I think it's understood that if you watch the first episode, he had the best dish among the remaining 10 chefs who were not, or the remaining 12 chefs rather, that were not at the judges' table as finalists. And he is cooking locally. He's one of the older chefs. And one thing we should look at, Tom, I'm actually really curious this year, is like, what do we know about age of chef and their ability to get to the finals? Is age a factor? In the NBA, the older teams tend to perform well. You need to kind of take some licks, kind of learn the league, learn yourself, learn who you are as a ball player, as a team. Younger teams tend not to win championships. I'm wondering if such a thing exists in Top Chef. But Dan Jacobs was the number 2 pick on the board of the trustees of Team Kevin. He becomes the 4th pick. I'm thrilled to have the hometown hero, and it's going to be interesting.
I'm devastated here. He's number 4 on my big board. He's a 6-time nominated James Beard chef. He's got credentials up the wazoo. He's got the hometown thing factoring in. He had some chefs or restaurateurs that he knew personally on the first episode and then did very well on that episode. So if you had an idea that maybe, okay, he might get a little stage fright cooking in front of some of his pals, didn't happen in the first episode. He didn't crumble. He did not choke under that kind of added pressure from having his peers, people he knows watching him as he cooks. The other thing that I incorporated here is the hometown chef factor. There have been 2 winners, according to Top Chef Analytics maven, Carly Levitz, who I believe, Kevin, we are going to be talking to in a few days here on Pack Your Knives. She has done the homework, and she has found that there have been 2 hometown chef winners in all of Top Chef seasons. That is Stephanie Izard in the Chicago season, and also Paul Key in the Texas season. He also won. So there have been 2. I don't know if that's a high number, Kevin, or a low number. Would you have expected more hometown chefs to have won Top Chef? I don't have an expected average performance of hometown chefs where it's above or below normal, but Dan Jacobs, outstanding pick here. Also a advocate for Kennedy's disease, which is a motor neuron disease. And of course, it's near and dear to my heart with ALS and my mother having ALS, that I love Dan Jacobs and all the work that he's doing for the Kennedy's disease cause. It is a very rare disease, often mistaken for ALS. And so now I'm already getting a little bit of remorse for not picking Dan at number 2 or number 3. But that's the way it goes. So Dan, I love you, buddy, but you're going to have a nice home over on Team Kevin.
Listener, listen up. This is important. Okay, I'm going to try to save you some money here. If you're still overpaying for wireless, it's time to say yes to saying no. At Mint Mobile, their favorite word is no. You may think like, oh, that's bad. No contracts, no monthly bills, no overages, no hidden fees, no BS. Here's why I said yes to making the switch and getting premium wireless for $15 a month. You heard that correctly. $15 per month. Ditch overpriced wireless and the jaw-dropping monthly bills. And of course, there are all these hidden fees and stuff, but at Mint Mobile, plans start at $15 per month. All the plans come with high-speed data, unlimited talk and text. You're not doing like weekend and nighttime minutes or anything like that. And it's delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone. Don't have to get a new phone. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all of your existing contacts. I switched months ago. People have asked, did you actually switch? Yes, I actually switched months ago, and I don't know what to do with all this extra money. I've cheated the system here. I've rigged something. This is an Ocean's 11 situation where I'm stealing wireless from Mint. That's how good a deal it is. Ready to say yes to saying no? Make the switch at mintmobile.com/dings. That's DINGS. That's mintmobile.com/dings. Upfront payment of $45 required, equivalent to $15 per month. Limited time new customer offer for first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details.
Hello, listener. It's producer Maze here to talk to you about Kindred. Now, close your eyes like Owen Wilson during a job interview and imagine a way to travel that feels personal, comfortable, and connected without the price tags and the sterile feelings of hotels or short-term rentals. Now open your eyes and stop using your imagination because Kindred has made it very real. That's exactly what they do. Kindred is a members-only home swapping network. It's not a hotel. It's not a short-term rental. It's a smarter way to travel where each stay feels like home. Here's how it works. With Kindred, your home is your ticket. You earn credits by hosting fellow Kindred members, and then you use those credits to stay in over 220,000 homes in more than 100 cities worldwide. There are no hotel costs or rental fees, just the credits that you've earned. Every stay comes with white glove service, 24/7 trip support, and $100,000 in host protection. Make it easier for you to travel and enjoy yourself and not worry about details. I've used Kindred and I found an amazing home for a weekend getaway in an idyllic location with amazing views and great ambiance. It had everything I needed. And the best part was, it cost me $0. So apply now at livekindred.com and use code DINGS to join for free. Plus, you'll earn 5 nights of travel credit just for signing up. That's right, that's 5 whole nights for free at livekindred, KINDRED.com, code DINGS, DINGS, livekindred.com, code DINGS. Hello, listener. It's producer Maze here to talk to you about Quince and their cookware. Cooler nights mean cozy meals at home, and Quince's cookware has made fall cooking so much more enjoyable. Their pieces deliver the quality and performance of luxury brands, but at a price that makes sense. And they look gorgeous on the stovetop, too. No matter what item you need to complete your kitchen, Quince has you covered. With 5-ply stainless steel pots and pans, nonstick skillets, chef-quality knives, and even ceramic bakeware, which is perfect for cozy casseroles or Sunday roasts. And when you look at these prices, you might think, how is Quince doing this? How do they deliver high-quality items similar to high-end brands that are half the price? Well, let me tell you, they partner directly with ethical top-tier factories to cut out the middlemen and pass the savings on to you. And it's not just cookware. I got myself some bath sheets. That's right. When you're a tall man, you have to use bath sheets, not bath towels from Quince. It's like drying off with a cloud. It's incredible. Upgrade your kitchen for cozy fall meals with premium cookware from Quince. Go to quince.com/dings for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/dings, DINGS, to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/dings.
The pick is in for 5.
From Cambridge, Massachusetts, cooking out of New Orleans, Louisiana, Team Kevin selects Charlie Pierre.
So Charlie Pierre, number 5 on the board for Team Kevin's trustees. He is a New Orleans cook from the Boston area. Opened a Haitian restaurant in New Orleans, and so I expect to see some just really fun cooking. I suspect we'll see some pickles before the season is out. He did a strong outing. I think it's understood that he was part of that triumvirate of soup guys. I call them the soup guys in the first episode, right? That included the ultimate winner Manny. That included Dan, who was just picked, and he was up there. They were very happy. He had the the corn and ham soup with the pickled shrimp. And so again, I think what we're seeing, Tom, is as tempting as it is to say, the first episode is just the first episode. what we're basically seeing is the people with the 5 most successful dishes in the opening episode are the first 5 chefs off the board.
Yeah, Charlie was high on my board, not quite as high as the chef's table members. I had him at 7. And so I'm curious to see what happens here at 5 or 6, your 6th pick, which was my 6th pick. That is now going to be yours. I will just say this or ask you this. So does that mean Charlie was number 5 on your board, on the chef's table board, which means that Manny was 1, Dan was 2, then either Michelle and Danny Garcia were 3 and 4.
For the sake of disclosure, it's already passed. It's water under the bridge. The top 5 were Manny,
Okay.
Dan Jacobs, Danny Garcia number 3, Michelle number 4, Charlie number 5. And that is, so it is gone according to order. And the first 5 picks on the board for the trustees are the first 5. Wisdom of the crowds, Tom.
So the chefs actually, the chef's table members, they had Danny Garcia at 3. Okay, I'm feeling better about this, even though the Noma gaff, we'll call it the Noma gaff from here on out. I'm feeling better about this. Okay, but if it turns out Danny's out next week, then I blame the chef's table too. It's not just me. All right.
No, blame your scouting department.
Well, their scouting department loved him too, Kevin. Okay,
Yeah, they did.
It's not just mine. All right, I'm gonna fire them.
My folks went to Copenhagen to check him out. I mean, that's how serious, that's how committed the chef table members are. They don't just fork over $250 to our wonderful production here, but they actually travel.
I need to raise the travel budget on Team Tom.
Yes.
Okay, this is going to be painful. Give me the 6th pick here, Commissioner.
Avec le 6e sélection,
No!
le plus important choix de tout le draft.
Wow.
L'équipe Kevin select Kevin DeAndrea de Oloron, Sainte-Marie, France. It's now officially Team Kevin.
Kevin. Okay. Are you done speaking French? Because I don't know. Are you done? I can't speak. I'm not fluent.
For the English speakers at home, Team Kevin selects Kevin from France.
Okay. Number 5 on my big board. Top Chef finalist for Top Chef France. He's got star quality. I think he has the biggest social media following of all of these chefs here, partly probably because he was on Top Chef France and did very well in that competition. He's number 5 on my big board for a reason. He is the only returnee from Top Chef lore on this show. And Kevin, your chef's table did a very good job selecting at number 6, my number 5th pick, Kevin DeAndrea. I'm very upset about this.
Yeah, I mean, this is interesting. I'm trying to think like where I would have had him in a parallel universe where I don't know anything. Because again, he didn't have a perfect dish. There was a technical flaw to his pasta. But as you said, the training, the pedigree, he is somebody exceptionally well known in kind of global circles. And clearly, my trustees, as provide the sort of preparation that you provide, they dug in. They don't care if his squid ink pasta was a little gummy, a little thick. They're comfortable with the pedigree. And so this is kind of the first selection, in my opinion, that falls outside of what did we see in week 1 as the primary criteria. And I think from here on out, that's what we're going to see, because really the other 10 chefs all had, some flaw to their first week dish. So now we're moving into the phase of the draft, Tom, where, it's as much about training. It's as much about, hey, what do we think from the background? Is there anything any tells, despite a flawed dish? We're making dispensations now. And I think this is my favorite part of the draft.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for this next pick.
I think Kevin acquiring Kevin in the trade from last year is going to be massively important for this season of Top Chef. Mark it down. That's the commissioner's thoughts. We do have a pick. With the 7th pick in the Top Chef Season 21 Pack Your Knives draft, Tom Haberstroh selects Kalina Bliss from Seattle, Washington, cooking out of Chicago, Illinois.
Tom, this is really interesting to me. What are you seeing here? My team had it quite a bit lower. I'm just wondering, and again, I say this with no prejudice. I'm interested in the rationale.
She is a chopped grand champion competing against multiple people. Chopped Casino Royale grand champion. She also watched our friends Brian Malarkey and Eric Ajapong's show Beachside Brawl on the Food Network. I believe it's on the Food Network. She won that competition. She is got the pedigree that I want in a cooking competition. She's got a fantastic experience that, the OKC Thunder this year are an amazing team. Do they have the track record of performing in competitions when the lights are brightest together? No, they don't. They might be the number one team in the Western Conference by record, but they certainly aren't in terms of experience. And I think Kalina Bliss, even though she didn't stand out in the first episode, I want to kind of zig where we're zagging here and putting a lot of emphasis on the first episode. I feel like Kalina here is a sleeping giant. Here, number 6 on my big board, I am getting her at number 7.
Got you. Now, this changes everything. Because I was not charged with drafting this year, I have not done the level of research that I often do ahead of a draft. And I did not know this about her experience in front of the big lights or the bright lights and the cameras of cooking competition shows that are televised. This is big news, and that changes everything to me. Now it's all starting to make sense. The chopped pedigree.
But Kevin, there might be some arbitrage opportunities here. If I had known that the Chef's Table group did not value Kalina, maybe I could have gotten her later in the draft and acquired someone that, would have been better, that you are probably going to snag here with the 8th pick. I really like Kalina. I actually thought this would have been crazy. I actually considered her at number 3 because of that pedigree. But I was able to get Michelle and Danny on Team Tom. Welcome to the squad, Kalina. Bring all your badges from your previous competitions and flaunt them in front of Team Kevin's face.
With the 8th pick, Team Kevin selects Kenny Nguyen from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, cooking out of the home state of Athens, Georgia.
What? Really? Really? Kenny, if you're listening to this, I'm sorry that response might have been a little obnoxious of me, but I had him at 14th on my board because I did not feel like his performance in the first episode was worthy of being a mid-draft pick. I haven't got a chance to listen, but Chef Buddha Lowe, has a theory that Kenny Nguyen didn't forget to put his dark meat on some of the plates, that he actually undercooked the chicken, the dark meat, and therefore did not want to put it on the plate. And there is a keep your third eye open Top Chef Illuminati theory from the 2-time champion Buddha Lowe saying that Kenny actually made the right call, but had questions about the editing of the episode, portraying it as he didn't get it on the plate in time. So whether that means much in my estimation of where Kenny is on this, I actually had him lower on the board. I'm surprised the Chef's Table, considering he almost got eliminated. Yes, Dave Murphy should have gone home, but we both know, I think, that Amanda Turner was the better chef in that cook-off. And Kenny going 8 here, that seems a bit of a reach to me.
So interesting, of the 4 Chef Table members that did submit boards, 2 had him at 7th, 2 had him at 8th. This wasn't a case where someone kind of, what's the reverse of sandbag, Tom, where like someone had him first and it averaged everybody else up. He was consistently 7th or 8th on all 4 boards. And so I'm with you. I'm with you in the sense that time management to me is always a red flag, right? Because you can cook your ass off, but at the end of the day, if you can't get the food on the plate, that suggests that it's going to bite you one way or the other. These challenges are too demanding in terms of budgeting time for a chef who's, Dawn got away with it for a season, almost a full season.
Yeah.
But it does pay. And so I tend to overemphasize that as an attribute. Now, I am fascinated with this theory because what Buddha's suggesting is it's the right, if indeed happened, and again, this is a theory. We have not reported this out, Tom. We do not know if Kenny Wynn actually intentionally left his chicken thigh off the plate because it was undercooked, and better to serve nothing than an undercooked protein.
Wait a minute, Kevin. You're zooming right past your preference for undercooked chicken.
But I'm not at that judge's table. I'm the only person in the who likes raw chicken. By the way, if I ever am a guest judge, all the chefs should know that if you serve me an undercooked protein, I'm fine, even chicken. But I do think this is interesting. So Buddha, first of all, I just love the existence of this theory more than I love the theory itself. I love that Buddha is speculating that it's a conspiracy.
The pho butter was a great choice. The cook, either he was late to the judge's table or he made the executive decision to not put it on the plate, what have you. Vince Mancini, who does the great power rankings, Top Chef power rankings every week, who's been on this show before, he had Kenny at number 10. So maybe I'm feeling pretty good about him going this early, considering his power rankings has him at number 10. However, Vince had Kalina at number 11. So by his estimation, these are both reaches here. Kalina and Kenny here in the mid part of the draft. Who's up next?
With the 9th pick, Team Kevin selects Rasika Venkatesa from Chennai, India, cooking out of New York, New York.
Yeah, a great pick here. This was not too far off from where I had her. She's a French Laundry alum. She's worked at some of the top restaurants in the world. She's done Moroccan cuisine. She, of course, specializes in Indian cuisine that you saw in the first episode. A little bit of a red flag here for me, obviously not for the chef's table voters, but that she didn't nail the Top Chef prompt. She didn't really make a pasta for the first episode, and right off the bat, you kind of have to fulfill the challenge. So I was a little bit kind of surprised about that, but it seems like her credentials are very strong and worthy of a high pick.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of kind of le faire corcatai and whether or not doing a rice flour dumpling rather than pasta, I would argue, Tom, on behalf of the trustees, that of the flaws you see in a first episode, the not following the challenge, I don't think that's a congenital condition. Like, she clearly, she is a Tamil chef and did a Tamil dumpling. Pasta just doesn't necessarily have a strong place maybe in that culinary tradition, but that's something that doesn't come up again and again, right? Like, yeah. that's an error. Like, time management, wow, that's a red flag if you believe that, hey, it's revealing of a chef's weakness. The not following. Now, there are chefs that we've seen time and time again on episodes in a frustrating way, kind of go their own way. They're overly independent. They reinterpret the challenge the way they want to. I don't necessarily think that this is a congenital condition of Rasika the chef. This is something that happened. And I think that's something that can be cleaned up more easily than, say, time management or under seasoning or any other kind of fatal Top Chef flaw. So that would be kind of my defense on behalf of the trustees that Rasika is the right pick here. And she had they love the flavor profile. She's got the tools to succeed. That is something you can kind of condition yourself out of.
With the 10th pick, Tom Haberstrow's team selects Valentine Howell Jr. out of Dorchester, Massachusetts. That was a terrible Massachusetts accent. Not in my wheelhouse.
So, Tom, I mean, you get a James Beard Award finalist for Best Chef in the Northeast. There's some people who live in the Northeast in the United States. That's a pretty dense region. A lot. There are tens and hundreds of million, 120 million people in that region, and he is one of the 5 best chefs. So at this stage in the draft, to get somebody with that sort of pedigree is a pretty nice pull, I got to say. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you, Team Kevin, chairman of the board of Team Kevin. I felt really good about Valentine. He's a guy who hails from the New England area, as I do myself. A little bit of a homer pick, admittedly, but I love his diverse cuisine. He comes from a very different cuisines in his background that he's been a chef at. And I think when you look at his bio, it doesn't do his justice, his performance in episode 1. He seems to be a very lovable character. And I think that's going to serve him well in these competitions where there's team play. I think that kind of personality will shine through. And so is he a number 1 pick on my board? No. But on this one, I'm happy to snag him with the 10th pick. And I am about to submit my 11th pick.
With the 11th pick, Tom Haberstroh selects Amanda Turner from Arlington, Texas.
I really like this pick for you, and I think she's much stronger than the bottom 3 finish in that first week suggested. I think one of the judges said she had the strongest concept. I thought both of her concepts were strong. Again, you got to worry about over-seasoning, under-seasoning, and she did one of each. Though I think the second was a reaction a little bit mentally to the first on that one particular day. But I think, look, this is a person who knows how to put together an idea or to conceive an idea and put it together. There were a couple execution errors, but I like this pick for you, Tom. I had her higher kind of in my mind after evaluating that first episode. I know she ended up on the bottom. I don't care. Good concepts.
Yeah, I really love the choice to do a crudo there and juxtapose that with David Murphy, who was all over the place. She just knew what she was going to cook, and she executed. And as we know on Top Chef, it is very advantageous to do when there's a time constraint, just knock out a really strong crudo, and she did that. I liked that. Also, she is a James Beard semifinalist for Emerging Chef of 2022. So she's got that going for her. And maybe I went a little bit of, credentialism here with Valentine and Amanda here with the James Beard Award final recognitions and all that. But I like the value here at 11. I do, Kevin. And as much as I focused a lot of my top picks with the first episode performance, this one I feel like, you said it, she's much better than what she finished in the bottom 3.
With the 12th pick, Kevin Arnovitz selects Alicia Allens from Palatine, Illinois.
Yeah, she was the next one off my board here. Alicia, 2 times James Beard Award nominee, specializes in Spanish and Mediterranean cooking. She's a private chef, which is interesting. Don't have too many of those on Top Chef, but we do see some success there. You know what? Can't disagree with this pick from Team Kevin.
Yeah, the trustees had her at this spot. The challenge pasta. This is really all we have you go on, because as you said, private chefs, we can't rifle through menus, see their kind of sous chef experience. It's a much more isolated existence, but you're essentially doing Top Chef every night, presumably for a very fussy, wealthy person. So that's saying something.
Yeah, can't disagree with this one. I wish we had more time seeing her. I believe she is the one who basically told David Murphy to F off when he was asked, "Oh, how are you going to do your gnocchi?" And she was like, "Yeah, wouldn't you like to know?" So she's got some sharp elbows to her, and I like that. So I had her higher than a couple spots higher on my big board. I had her at number 10. So good snag here at 12.
This episode is brought to you by 20th Century Studios' new film, Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere, starring Golden Globe winner Jeremy Allen White and Academy Award nominee Jeremy Strong. Scott Cooper, the director of the Academy Award-winning movie Crazy Heart, brings you the story of the most pivotal chapter in the life of an icon. Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere. Only in theaters October 24th. Get your tickets now.
This episode is brought to you by Nature's Bounty. Nature's Bounty believes your body is brilliant, naturally designed to thrive, inside and out. For those always looking for new ways to support your health from head to heels, Nature's Bounty has a range of over 400 vitamins and supplements born from 50 years of trust and care. Nature's Bounty. It's in your nature. Visit naturesbounty.com to learn more.
With the 13th pick, Kevin Arnovitz selects Savannah Miller from Southern Pines, North Carolina.
Tom, I apologize. I know you were looking for, the North Carolinians, particularly from Southern Pines, which has a spot in your family. But my team, my trustees have selected her. And, I want to hear it. What is your general, aside from geographical affinity, what else about Savannah did you like?
This feels like a betrayal on my people.
She also had the Greek sauce too. So she not only is a North Carolinian.
Aviolemino, yeah. She had the aviolemino, that is a Greek soup with the eggs, and I'm already, this is not going well for me. Savannah, I apologize. You're in Durham now. You're not in Southern Pines, as far as I can tell. So this really pains me that I wasn't able to draft you this year. But you know what? I will promise you this. I will submit a draft proposal to Team Kevin after this draft, and it will go to the board, and we'll see if there's a deal to be had here for Savannah Miller. I don't want to show my cards too much and how much I'm willing to give up to get Savannah on Team Tom. But you know what? I could have just gotten her at 11 or 10. So you know what? You're in good hands with Team Kevin, and we'll talk soon. We'll talk soon, Kevin. All right. I will submit my. Well, you know what? We kind of know there's only 2 chefs left on the board, correct?
With the 14th pick, Team Tom Haberstroh selects Laura Ozilmaz from Acapulco, Mexico, cooking out of the greatest city in the world, San Francisco, California.
So what's interesting is the question to ask of the last chef was this the worst of the remaining chefs we've seen, or the least talented, or the least talented, the least capable on this particular competition show, which requires a very specific skill set, right? And apparently, collectively, between my trustees and you, Tom, the answer is, yeah, Laura had the least impressive performance, or combined with performance and pedigree, that's it. The yogurt mint soup didn't go over well to the judges. 2 soups in 1, but frankly, I got to be honest with you, I would have had her a little higher. And not just because I like Turkish cuisine, but I think bulgur meatballs so something. I think morel and maitake mushrooms, but apparently there were 2 muddled flavors in that water. I think we both spotted it as possibly watery yogurt mint soup, but she was the last remaining on the board, and it's a dubious distinction and possibly an unfair one, but so be it. Laura will be. Laura is yours.
You know what? I don't know what to make of this. And Maze, maybe you can help me here. I feel like we should incorporate this into our calculus. Does she want it enough? Does she want it enough? She owns her own restaurant in the Presidio. She is a co-owner of that restaurant in the Presidio in San Francisco. And that might be irrational, that maybe she doesn't want this enough, or whatever that means, or that is she going to be scrappy enough to get that final prize or top chef. But it did dawn on me in the back of my mind was, we didn't really see much of her in this episode. I didn't really have much to go off of. So I don't know what to make of her, but she's on my team. And she might prove that, like, hey, there's a Brock Purdy situation here where, yeah, she might be chef irrelevant here as the 14th pick, and David Murphy is going to go to my team as the 15th pick just by default. But the fact, I don't know, of Dalita, the executive chef and owner of Dalita in San Francisco, does that matter, Kevin, to you?
There's a lot of interesting stuff on her bio, right? Not just that she was trained at the Basque Culinary Center in Spain, which means she knows how to make a Basque cheesecake, undoubtedly, which makes me so very happy because there's nothing better in the world than Basque cheesecake. But no, look, there's a lot of training. I mean, that you've got sharpening her skills at the 11 Madison Park. Cafe Boulud. I mean, there is a resume here. There was a soup that had some nice qualities. I am going to state something, Tom. I think this is the strongest number 14 pick we've seen in a long time. I'd feel pretty good if I were you. There's nothing in there that suggested to me she doesn't know what the hell she's doing. And there's nothing on the resume item, given the diversity of training. I mean, basically, hometown is Mexico. Middle Eastern cuisine is her specialty. She is trained, Mexico City education, New York education, Basque education, restaurants all over the place. I mean, I got to tell you. And she was also announced as a 2024 James Beard Best Chef semifinalist for California. We got some restaurants in California, man. We got some chefs. So is it possible you just walked away with the steal of the draft? I mean, Ms. Irrelevant could very well prove victorious for you, because I got to tell you, there's a lot here to like. And we're basing a lot on a little bit of a watery yogurt soup in week 1. And who cares about soup anyway?
I care about soup. I have soup like every day for lunch in the Haberstroh HQ. So it's nice and easy. It fills you up. I'm team soup. So you know what? I'm team Laura. So Laura, welcome to Team Tom. And David, I love you. Not my cup of tea in terms of personality in that first episode, and certainly not of Maze. But you know what? You have an awesome restaurant there in San Francisco. So with the 14th and 15th pick, I am taking San Francisco chefs and adding them to Team Tom. Maze, why don't you just, for posterity's sake, give us the 15th pick?
That's right. With the 15th pick from Shuggy's Trash Pie, the San Francisco restaurateur impresario extraordinaire with a very fashionable hat game, it's David Murphy.
David Murphy. All right. So presumably there is a Top Chef Last Chance Kitchen this season. Maybe it returns and he's just waiting there in a few weeks. I'm not really sure how it's going to work out, but David Murphy, the 15th chef off the board. Kevin, that was exhilarating. I hope it was as fun for the listeners as it was for me. That was great. And I know you were voting by or selecting by proxy, but I hope you had just as much of a kick-ass time as I did.
Oh, it was great. And by the way, it was so much fun getting everybody's draft boards. It really was. So thank you again, Scott Shaw and Christopher Chen and Elizabeth Klein-Smith. You did great work, Ellie Klein-Smith. So that was really fun. I loved kind of aggregating those this morning, putting up the points, kind of wincing a couple times. But this is really fun, and I'm thrilled to have my picks in trust. I will submit all of your trade proposals, Tom, to the board, to the trustees, the board of trustees of Team Kevin. We're like the Green Bay Packers now. We're like the publicly owned team in sports here. We are not owned by a craven billionaire.
Top Chef Wisconsin.
Oh, there you go.
I'm curious, Maze, can you do a rundown as the commissioner of Team Tom and Team Kevin? Do you have that in front of you?
Sure thing, Tom. Team Kevin, with the first pick, selected Manny Barea, then 4, 5, 6, Dan Jacobs, Charlie Pierre, Kevin D'Andrea, number 8 and 9, Kenny Wen, and Rasika Venkatesa, 12, 13, Alicia Allens, and Savannah Miller. Team Tom, starting with the 2 pick, Danny Garcia, Michelle Wallace, Kalina Bliss, Valentine Howell Jr., Amanda Turner, Laura Ozilmaz, and the Trash Pie King himself, David Murphy. Historically, 2 seasons ago, I got the last pick because you guys both said, no, last picks, it doesn't matter. He's done. He's already out. Blah, blah, blah. And I said, you know what? Put him on my team. So it's only fitting that the last pick is David Murphy.
I feel good about my draft. I'm looking at my team and I'm feeling really good about it. And I'm with you, Kevin. Maybe Chef Laura is the diamond in the rough, the Brock Purdy of this draft.
Yeah, I mean, I think your point earlier up about how actually it is no longer an indicator of success to win the first 2 challenges is indicative of something else on this show, which is there's just a lot more parity. I feel like in the early seasons of the show, and I mean the first really 10, 12 years even, there were tiers. There were really accomplished chefs, and there were some, no shame to it, but less accomplished chefs. There was a gap in talent. It was top heavy, and I think what the show has been able to do is assemble a roster of chefs where the floor is much, much higher. And I don't think it's a coincidence that we're seeing this new thing with this pivot where, hey, if, it doesn't indicate anything. And I speculated, you and I were kind of texting about this last week, and I said, well, maybe it's that the nature of the early challenges is such that it's a more specific, quirkier ask or something. And I don't think that's the case. I think the answer is like, we don't know. I think we're going to come out next week and the week after, and we could see a complete reverse of the standings, and you wouldn't be surprised to see Alicia knock it out of the park, or Amanda and Kenny to win a challenge, and it would say nothing other than the fact that there's just parody. We're in the era of Top Chef parody.
Yes, and we are in the era of Tom's redemption arc after losing the last couple years in the fantasy draft, the fantasy season of Pack Your Knives. I'm back, baby. I feel great about my team. We're going to talk about Savannah. I'm going to convene with my other cabinet members here at Team Tom, and I'm going to figure out what we want to put on the table here and assemble it in a package to Team Kevin potentially. So stay tuned for that. And again, I want to thank all of our listeners. Thank you to the Chef's Table members for submitting and being a part of this. This was super fun. And also the paid subscribers, shout out to all of you who have not just subscribed, but commented on our pieces on the Substack, which you can find again at packyourknives.com. Go subscribe, and join the fun. We're going to have, I think we're going to have a lot more conversations over there just after the episodes. We're also going to have an additional episode next week with one of our listeners who we kind of teased it earlier, who's done a lot of homework, a lot of math, a lot of data tracking on the history of Top Chef. And we're going to ask her what she found about the value of immunity. So stay tuned for that on the Substack. We will have Carly Levitz on the show to break it all down. And if you remember, Kevin, she also did a breakdown of the GOAT, Top Chef GOAT standings last year in our finale. We kind of talked about Buddha Low and whether he's the GOAT. She did her own math in the first 13 episodes, and he was right up there. And I think we're going to have another discussion with Carly. Thanks so much for doing all this work for us in a later episode. And then finally, thank you to Maze. Maze, thanks for hosting this commissioner draft. And I even though Kevin got Kevin DeAndrea, I thought that was a highlight of the show, is you reading in French Team Kevin's selection of Kevin.
Team Kevin.
Kevin, excuse me.
And we are going to add the accent aigu to our jerseys. It'll be great. I'm going to have to, it'll cost a fortune, but I'm officially rebranding it with the accent aigu. I'm very excited about Carly. There's nobody more fun to geek out with about just the more granular Top Chef trivia and stats and probabilities. It is so much fun. Her analysis is incredible. That's going to be a great conversation. Closing thoughts, Tom, about next week, about the season.
We have episode 2 recap, which we will publish to our paid subscribers as soon as that episode goes out. You will see that. And I will say, I'm so much more excited for episode 2 because of this draft. Like before I was into it. Now that I have a team, now that you have a team, I feel like the battle lines are drawn, and I feel really, really excited for episode 2.
Fun to have skin in the game. For Tom Haberstroh, for producer Anthony Mays, this is Kevin Arnovitz, and this is Pack Your Knives.